Only those who love can create beauty, and only beauty can bring love into being. When the great cycle is broken, the world is filled with straight lines and sharp angles that cut deeply into the soul. Chapter 7, entitled Mother of Pearl. In the contemplation of beauty, we see the whole cycle of our lives, for our sense of beauty is not only the source of our happiness, it is our very destiny. Obviously, the society we create and the environment in which we live evolves out of the things we believe most valuable, the things whose beauty we cannot deny. So if we are to understand where we are going, it's not enough merely to analyze the world events or to speculate on political theories. We have to understand the effect of beauty on our lives and why we are or are not sensitive to it. Unfortunately, we live in a society where we have come to believe that beauty is a superficial thing, frivolous, which is no real importance. And we would have not yet come to the point of realizing that beauty has a function that makes it more valuable than any utility or productive convenience. Beauty has the function of making things valuable in themselves, and of making each moment worth living, no matter how unproductive at the moment it may seem. Beauty is the joy of living, and it is that which enables us to communicate with the forms of all love. Beauty is the giving and the taking of love. We cannot perceive beauty unless there is love in us, and the things we perceive cannot appear beautiful unless there is love in them. Beauty is joy expressed. It is the countenance of nobility, of the organism, thought, or character that has been formed by delicacy and grace. To know beauty is the only success, and to be devoid of it is the only failure. If we are cut off from beauty, it is because we have corrupted ourselves with the concept of the purely functional. The purely functional is what we use and manipulate to avoid the unpleasant, and it is always a reaction and never a joy. It has no life within itself, but is always on to something else. And this is the very opposite of beauty, which approaches and does not avoid, which is ever spontaneous and joyous in each moment. The moment we say, quote, "the end justifies the means," end of quote, we take the love out of the function and make it a hideous thing. And what is more hideous than these very functional roads and superhighways that have no beauty at all, but simply allow us to speed from one unhappiness to the next? And are we so proud of these ugly byways and the time they enable us to slave, or the time they enable us to save? But just what are we saving all this time for? We can't enjoy life in the future. Joy is of the present, and the more we save time, the more we grow frightened of death and of living, and the more we isolate ourselves from beauty. Beauty doesn't save anything. It is that which abandons itself to every curve and nuance of the present. Beauty has no fear of time. It is at once in harmony with time and yet utterly beyond it. Therefore, it does not save time. It has within itself, even in its simplicity, all the intricacies of 1,000 moments. It does not save and it does not serve, yet there is nothing with which it is not generous. It offers nothing, yet gives itself completely. And this is the way to true virtue. And this is the way of the true craftsman who makes loveliness his form. Such a man knows the beauty of works painstakingly done, the beauty of work which he has given himself completely and found in it the celebration of life. The God of joy is in his heart, and he cannot be corrupted, for within thine work is itself the greatest treasure. Beauty is that which has gone beyond pain, which is so filled with itself that it is oblivious to suffering, and that this is what it is to truly love, to have a vision of beauty implanted in one's heart. Now, this is not to say that beauty either accepts pain or rejects it. Both the acceptance and rejection of pain are really the same thing, that both are prisoners of fear. If you accept one pain, you only do so to avoid every difficulty and sorrow. Then you close yourself off to all the possibilities of living. Both the acceptance and rejection of pain are the result of an unimaginative hedonism, a grasping of the cheapest pleasure as the most valuable good. The valuable and the good can be found only when pain is disregarded and utterly transcended in the perception of beauty. If the oyster had not realized deep within it, its being could not have been brought forth into the shimmering pearl. The pearl is the transformation of pain, and it is the triumph of feeling. It is brought forth not only by the acceptance of the experience of pain, the acceptance of feeling vulnerability. It is the jewel of sensitivity which is brought forth by which that is ever open and receptive, that which does not close itself off from the gap of loneliness and feeling, agony and doubt, but finds therein new spaces for the substance of its joy. So the pearl is the incorporation of the experience into the total fabrication of itself. It is the absorption of the fragment into the whole, the process by which suffering is ended.